Alex woke up in a daze when he heard someone knocking at his door. He stood up and walked over barefoot to open it. He saw Edith and Hannah standing there, so he wanted to close it in their face. "Wait a minute." Edith jammed her foot into the opening. "What do you want?" Alex looked at her in dismay. "Why are you so rude? You should be a little nicer and let us in first," Edith said as she walked in with Hannah, whether he liked it or not. He looked at her and felt helpless. First, she scolded him for being so rude, and then she told him to be nicer. How can she say that to me, he thought. He felt very strange again. Why did Edith change so much? And why is she in my room in the middle of the night, he wondered. She looked at him and sighed. "It's my fault. I shouldn't have said those things to you. I'm here to apologize and to ask you to forgive me." To get him to go with her to the tryst party, she had to first lighten the mood between them and smooth things over. She thought she could do this by apologizing to him, although it was very uncomfortable for her. He didn't say anything. He just looked at her quietly. Is she like a 3-year-old? She scolded me so badly, now she's apologizing? And I'm supposed to just accept this? He thought. Oh, Alex, I'm apologizing to you and you still look at me like this? Will you forgive me? She said as she held his hand, shaking it gently and giving him an earnest look. But that wasn't what she was thinking. I'm not apologizing to you because I like you. It's only because Trist's boss asked me to bring you to the party, she thought. Alex, please forgive her. Sometimes she's just too impulsive. She felt bad and thought about it for a long time before she came over here to apologize to you. He looked at Edith. She showed traces of sincerity. Okay, I forgive you. It's late. You should go back, he said casually. He didn't care if Edith was sincere or not. He just wanted to send her away quickly. Edith and Hannah looked at each other and then at Alex. Alex, since you've forgiven me, let's be friends. Edith looked at him, but there was no apology in her eyes. Let me tell you the truth. My live stream was very successful and the boss liked it. I'm going to Miami for the tryst party tomorrow night. I hope you can join me and help, okay? As he had expected, she had a different motive for her apology. Alex sneered. Edith, if it wasn't because you needed my help, you would have never apologized to me, he thought. He went to the door, opened it, and said, It's time for you to go. Alex, I've apologized to you. What else do you want? You know this is a good opportunity for me to become famous. Maybe tomorrow night will be the most important night in my live streaming career. If you come with me, I could be a famous streamer and get the support of the platform. I have to grab this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Do you understand? Edith said while feeling a little anxious when she saw him ask her to leave. She hoped that he could understand how important the party was to her. Not only that, Hannah also walked toward him and put her arm around Edith. The director of Tryst called and said that if Edith doesn't show up with you tomorrow night, she might be blocked from the platform. Even if her results are okay, they won't let her progress. So please think about it carefully. After all, it would be very easy for you to help her. His heart moved when he heard that his presence would have such a profound impact on Edith's career. I won't go with you, he finally said cruelly. If it was for something else, he would have agreed to help her. But her live stream content was deceptive. He wouldn't be able to live with helping her cheat her fans. Why? Edith looked at him viciously. This is for my career. It's not for fun. If you don't go, I'll be finished. You're so cruel and vicious. You want to ruin my future, don't you? She grabbed him by his pajamas and said, You're so bad. Edith, don't grab him. Hannah pulled her away from him. Alex, she's put a lot of energy into her live stream. I don't think you want to ruin her future. You can see that she'll go nuts, said Hannah as she hugged her. I can help you with other things, but I can't help you fake this live stream. I'm sorry, he said to Edith. He thought that he would use his family's power to help put her career in order. Don't worry. Trist's boss won't interfere with Edith's livestream. I guarantee that your live streaming career will continue. Oh, are you kidding me? You're just a little garbage collector. What do you think you are? Alex, are you so stupid to think you can solve this problem? You deserve to be poor. Edith felt that he was being ridiculous. You say that you don't want to help me because I cheat people. Ha! You're such a heartless and ungrateful man. Who do you think you are to talk to me about morals? Hannah, let me go. Hannah slowly let go of her. She sneered at Alex and walked up to him. He looked at her but didn't say a word. Do you remember Cathy? When Edith mentioned her name, he was stunned. Ah. Edith laughed with contempt when she saw his reaction. The sneer on her face got even stronger. It looks like you still remember her. I thought you'd forgotten about her. Did you know that Cathy dropped out of school? Edith asked softly. Do you know that on the day she left, she packed up her bedding and clothes in the dorm alone, and that she walked out of the school with her suitcase all by herself? Do you know where she is now? Do you know how lonely and desolate she must have felt, how sad she must have been, and how many tears she must have cried the night before she left? Edith asked. Her questions were like arrows shooting at his heart. Since the last time he had seen Cathy at the boutique, he had not heard any news about her. He had not attended classes recently, so he didn't know that Cathy had dropped out of school. Cathy's family wasn't well off, so how could she afford to drop out of school? Did she give up? He thought, and worried about her. You don't know. You don't know anything. Edith stared into his eyes as she tried to judge him. I think the culprit who drove Cathy to the point of dropping out was you. You don't want to put this on my head, do you? He complained. You, what's wrong with you? She said more loudly. Alex was shocked. He did feel some responsibility for Cathy's departure. Do you remember what you did to Cathy? Edith sneered. If it hadn't been for you, Cathy wouldn't have gotten to that point. Do you want to say that Cathy dumped you and that she did a lot of unfaithful things to you? That she looked for another man behind your back? That she disliked the poor and loved the rich? She also sarcastically criticized you on all kinds of occasions. She's suffering now. Alex stared at Edith. Yes, it's all true, but does it make you relieved to hear it? Edith fiercely gouged out Alex. You could only see her bad qualities, but you couldn't see a little bit of her good side. Is it because she wasn't good to you? Are you such a great man? Do you know that Cathy has never left you out of her heart in all this time? She put forward a message that made him dumbfounded and puzzled. What are you talking about? You don't know, he said. Cathy's family's not so great, so you know that she wants to change her destiny. You understand that, right? So she did cheat on you with Billy behind your back. When you found out, I told her that if she wanted to make you feel better, it would be better to be cruel to you. Otherwise, you would blame yourself, which would be more painful. So, she behaved badly in front of you to drive you away and make you feel better. After that, Cathy and Simon got together, Edith continued. A girl from a poor family who tried hard to find a better boyfriend under the pressures of her family and society. She didn't rob anyone or break the law. Don't tell me that she was wrong, she said to him in a loud voice. Alex was speechless, but he was also deeply moved. In the past 2 or 3 months, since Cathy left you, you only saw her arrogant and domineering side. Did you know that she'd call out your name when she slept? She hid it very well from others, but I know her best. She didn't really forget you after breaking up with you, Edith said. She continued. She told me that the day she broke up with Simon, she realized that the person who she really loved was you. She told me that she wanted to get back together with you. She wanted to spend the rest of her life making up for all the harm she'd done to you in the past few months. I was there when she called you 6 times, but you wouldn't answer. She cried on my shoulder and whispered that you don't want her. Edith closed her eyes for a moment as she took a deep breath. Later, She told me that to save your love, she'd do something desperate. And then she ran out. I think she went to see you. What did you say to her that made her feel so lost when she came back? The next day she dropped out of school and left. Alex remembered that time when she was in the boutique. He could not help but feel a trace of heartache. You remember, don't you? Don't you know how shameless you were to her? Edith's eyes became sharper and sharper. And now you have the nerve to talk to me about morals? After all the things you've done? Do you really deserve it? I don't deserve it, but I don't need you to blame me for it either. I'm tired, so please go. He was really tired. He didn't want to see her flaunt this in front of him anymore. If he was wrong, he would use his methods to make up for it. But he needed to think carefully about it first. He pushed her out the door. Why are you pushing me? She exclaimed. Do you want to know what Cathy asked me to tell you when she left? He stopped. He didn't think it was very important to him, but he wanted to know Cathy's state of mind at that time. It would be a pity not to know and be disrespectful toward Cathy. What did she say? He asked as he stared at her. She left you a letter. Everything she wanted to say to you is in it. Let me give it to you. Her eyes narrowed as she paused. Give me the letter, he said. I'll give it to you, as long as you come with me to the party, she said. Don't force me to go with you. His eyes tightened, which made her shiver. She tried to calm herself. If you don't go to the party with me, I won't give it to you. She had to blackmail him, otherwise he would never go with her. You. He grabbed her by the collar and his eyes narrowed dangerously. She felt how strong he was, but she couldn't be timid, or her live broadcast would be doomed. What about me? I'll tell you after tomorrow. If you get me blocked on Trist, I'll find a place to burn the letter secretly, and then you'll never know, she threatened. He breathed heavily and closed his eyes tightly. Okay, I'll go with you. He finally agreed to go with her as he slowly released her collar. Okay, you agreed. She was overjoyed and relieved that she wouldn't be blocked from the streaming platform. Where's the letter? He asked coldly. I'll give you the letter after tomorrow. Anyway, I haven't got it with me. She regained her disdain for him. Well, it's late and we should go to bed. We'll get up early tomorrow and fly to Miami, she said to him and left his room with Hannah. He slowly walked back to the bed. Lying on his side, he couldn't help but think of Cathy's face. He eventually pulled up the quilt and fell asleep. The next day when Alex woke up, it was gloomy outside. It was already 8 o'clock. He called out to the 2 girls who were still in bed. After an hour of getting ready, they walked out of the villa. After some breakfast at a coffee bar, Edith took Hannah back to a rental house, and then the 3 of them got in a taxi and rushed to the airport. After buying tickets, they quickly got on the plane. It was still gloomy outside. Alex and Edith sat together. The 2 girls ate their snacks and chatted across the aisle, but they didn't look at him at all. Do you have the letter? He asked. No, she said as she closed some bags. He knew that the letter was in her bag, but she was afraid that he would take it away and not go with them to Miami. He gave a faint smile and stopped asking her. He had already promised to go with them, so he wouldn't change his mind now. He closed his eyes. He was looking forward to seeing the city where Debbie had once lived for a short time. A while later, they arrived in Miami and went to the harbor where the tryst party was being held for the top 100 online celebrities. The party was on a private luxury cruise ship. The magnificent ship was berthing at the port, so the party guests were not allowed to board it yet. They had to wait for an hour and a half before the party started. Like Edith, the internet celebrities were getting ready, resting and getting familiar with the party protocols in a nearby hotel. Alex couldn't stay in the hotel, So he walked along the harbor alone. Standing on a reef by the sea, he called out, "Debbie, where are you? Come back quickly." He had heard others say that when someone called out to the sea for their love would hear it and quickly return. But he only heard his echo, and the distant sounds of seagulls mingled with the waves. The sea breeze made Alex feel a little cold. He pulled his coat tighter and walked back to the hotel. At 6:30 in the evening, Alex followed Edith and Hannah to the cruise ship. With hundreds of people on board, Edith, Hannah, and the other internet celebrities were in awe and wonder. The cruise ship had 3 levels. The hull was made of shiny metal, and several lines of colored flags hung off the high mast from bow to stern. The top deck was huge, with a large swimming pool at the stern and several reclining lounge chairs around it. The stage with a reinforced framework was set up at the bow of the ship. Behind the stage, there was a beautiful red net curtain with the word Tryst. Sound equipment and seats lined both sides of the stage floor. The internet celebrities and guests were wandering around the observation platform on the deck, looking at the scenery. Standing along the ship's rail, they could see the endless sea in the distance until it met the horizon. The sounds of the rolling waves were soothing. Looking into the distance, Alex thought that the scenery would be even more beautiful if the sun were out that day. Several of the celebrities gathered to talk and laugh. "This cruise ship belongs to Lee Dempsey. They say that it's worth $500 million, and that he bought it with his father. How many rich people have this kind of courage?" "Well, I heard that Lee broke up with his girlfriend and is single now. Do you think I have a chance?" "I don't see any chance for you. After all, I'm still here." "They say that Lee will also be here tonight. I have to perform well when I go on stage, and maybe Lee will like me." They stopped chatting and walked to their seats when they saw that the party was about to start. Edith and Hannah had been standing nearby and overheard the conversation. Edith also had an idea. "Hannah, do you think Lee might like me?" She looked at Hannah and asked with a trace of hope and confidence in her eyes. Seeing her determined look, Hannah laughed with disapproval. "Edith, don't kid with me. The party's about to start, so let's go." Hannah was about to take her back, but Edith still stared at her. "You haven't answered my question yet," she said. Hannah was speechless. "Edith, I'll tell you the truth, but don't be angry with me. I've been dazzled by all the beautiful people you see here tonight. What's outstanding about us? Besides, there are some really beautiful streamers here. Lee will likely pick a beautiful one." After Hannah finished talking, Edith couldn't help but feel lost. She thought that stepping into a powerful family was just a dream, so she should take her live stream seriously. "Alex, the party's about to start. Come over here." Alex and Edith were sitting with the other internet celebrities, waiting for the party to start. They heard a rustling sound, and several people turned to look. Edith also looked behind her and saw several people walking on the deck with a young man. This young man was Lee Dempsey. He seemed thinner than when he was selected for the Sky's the Limit talent show. He wasn't accompanied by Angelina Sanders. Last time, under pressure from Justin Ambrose, Angelina disclosed that she was pregnant with Guy Avery's child. She had cheated on Lee in front of everyone. Guy's family was much better off than Lee's family. So Lee had broken up with Angelina. After that day, Lee became a joke. Of course, no one dared to mention such a thing in front of him. Lee had provided the cruise ship for the party, and he was with the organizer, who was naturally there to serve him well. A lot of the internet celebrities looked at Lee and hoped that he would notice them. Unfortunately, Lee lacked interest, and he didn't even look at the most beautiful ones. He just took a seat next to the organizer. "Edith, you see, Lee doesn't seem to be interested in the women. We don't have a chance," Anna whispered to her as she nodded, feeling a trace of loss. At 8 in the evening, the party's live stream officially began. The two hosts worked together to organize the party in an orderly manner. The appearance of each famous internet celebrity brought warm applause from the whole audience, and the live stream's response was particularly good. Edith had been preparing to go on stage. She had told Alex that he must speak well and not make any mistakes when they went up. The next person on the stage is a new online star, Miss Edith. Her live stream last night reached a huge audience. If you watched her live stream, you must be deeply impressed by her. Let's invite her up onto the stage, the host exclaimed. Edith and Alex walked up. Miss Edith, can you share with us why you chose this live content? Well, yesterday I went to my relative's house and unexpectedly heard about him, Edith replied as she pointed to Alex. After listening to his story, I was so moved. I had only one idea, and that was to help him as much as I could. That's so touching. It's no wonder your live stream attracted so many fans last night. Let's ask the poor man you're helping some questions, said the host. Did you sleep well last night? Edith has helped you so much. What kind of feelings do you have for her now? After the host finished, he handed the microphone over to Alex. But Alex thought that the previous night's live stream deceived the viewers, so he had nothing to say. It's okay. You don't need to be afraid. It's just a simple live stream, Edith said as she comforted Alex in front of the audience. But she pinched him out of their view. She's very good, and she helped me a lot. I'm very grateful to her. Alex had to say something nice so he could get Cathy's letter from her. That's great. Let's take a look at the big screen to see what the fans are saying. With that, the host looked over at the big screen that showed a flood of people. Let's thank Edith for her words. There were as many netizens as streamers, and they all gave positive comments about Edith's stream and tryst. Is she famous? Lee, who is sitting under the stage, asked the organizer. No, she's just a small streamer on our platform. It's just that yesterday's live broadcast about that kid with her on the stage was so hot that the response was very strong, the organizer said with a respectful smile. She's quite nice, Lee sighed. Oh, actually, the poor man's not poor at all. She found this guy, and last night she cooked for him, let him use her shower, and bought him new clothes. But she directed it and acted it by herself. The organizer told the truth about what he knew. Oh, so who is that man with her? Lee became more interested. She may have hired him, or maybe it's her boyfriend. It doesn't seem like this guy has any dignity if this is what he does to earn money. He'd rather be a beggar in a live stream than go out and find a job. But then again, we can't make money with our platform if he doesn't pretend to be poor. This organizer wasn't the one who had talked to Edith on the phone the previous night, so he didn't know the story very well. I don't think he's in love with that girl, so he knows he's helping her do the wrong thing. Lee looked at Alex and Edith on stage. Wait for them to step down and then get them to come over here for a while, Lee told the organizer. The organizer didn't dare to disappoint him. After Edith and Alex stepped down, they were told by the organizer that Lee wanted to see them. Edith was ecstatic and thought that Lee had liked her performance on the stage. But she was also confused. There were so many more beautiful women online, so Lee hadn't noticed her before. But now that he saw her, had he fallen for her? But why did he want to see Alex, too? With expectations and doubts, Edith walked over to Lee. Lee, I heard you were looking for me, she called out shyly, thinking only that the more tender and beautiful she was, the more he would like her. Lee asked Alex as soon as he walked up, Who is she to you? Lee didn't look at her at all. He continued to play with his phone as he glanced at Edith and spoke with Alex. Huh? She was stunned. She looked at Alex doubtfully and said to Lee, He's a poor man that I helped in the live stream yesterday. He sleeps outside and doesn't have enough to eat. Lee's face was blank. That's an unlikely story. You're lying to Lee. Tell him the truth. The organizer, who had been sitting on the sidelines, barked and winked at Edith, which suggested that he had already told Lee the truth. Lee, I was wrong. I shouldn't have lied to you, Edith said as she quickly apologized to him. I paid him. I gave him $100 and asked him to help me live. $100? I don't think this guy is someone who's willing to sell his dignity for only $100. Lee looked at Alex, but it didn't show him any flattery because he came from a wealthy family. Lee had some interest in Alex and turned his eyes back toward Edith. If you don't tell me the truth, you can leave. Edith looked at Lee's sharp eyes with surprise. She had a feeling that his idea of leaving wasn't as simple as going back to her seat. Oh, tell us, is he your boyfriend? The organizer was also worried. Edith was a popular streamer. If Lee blocked her for not telling the truth, it would be a loss to the platform. Huh? Edith was even more confused. How could she be a couple with Alex, the loser? She wanted to deny it, but she could see that the organizer was sending her signals like crazy by winking at her, which suggested Lee already had some ideas. Edith was conflicted, as she didn't know whether she should agree with him or not. He's my boyfriend, Edith finally replied after making a difficult choice. After seeing Lee's face soften a little, she breathed a sigh of relief. What's your name? What do you do? He asked Alex. My name is Alex Ambrose, and I'm a student at Preston University, he said frankly, as he also saw that Edith had told him that he was her boyfriend. He felt helpless. Although Alex had read Debbie's diary, Lee's name had not been mentioned. But Alex didn't know that the rich man sitting in front of him was one of the people who had hurt Debbie that day. Ambrose, Lee muttered. He remembered the day when he had been slapped by Justin publicly. Of course, Lee didn't connect Alex, who was badly dressed, with Justin. But Lee was dissatisfied with Alex because they both shared the last name of Ambrose. So, to help your girlfriend be an internet star, you gave up your dignity as a man. You're willing to pretend to be a beggar in a live stream. You really are a nobody. Lee looked at Alex with a light smile and said, Don't you know that it's not only men who abandon their wives, but also women who kick out their boyfriends when they have no money? One puts so much effort into helping them, but then your girlfriend becomes someone else's woman. Don't you think it's interesting? Alex breathed heavily, but he didn't take Lee's sarcasm too seriously. Alex and Edith were not lovers. But Alex was curious about Lee. Why would a rich guy ridicule a student he didn't know? Edith, let's hear it from you. When you have money, will you throw this guy away? Lee looked at her with a light smile. She just smiled back awkwardly, as she didn't know how to answer. That's interesting. It seems that you still have feelings for him. You can go now, but don't let me see you again. Since you two love each other so much, I wish you two a long and good life. Okay, go now, Lee exclaimed. Yes, let's go now. Edith was shocked and walked with Alex to their seats. Minnie, what did Lee say to you? Hannah asked as soon as Minnie and Alex sat down. That was crazy, Alex said casually, remembering that he had nothing to do with Minnie. Lee had called them over to ridicule them. You still help me, so do you want to help me? Minnie said to him. He closed his mouth and didn't look at her. What's the matter? Why do you look so unhappy? Hannah looked a little sad herself as she took Minnie's hand and questioned her softly. It didn't look as though it was a good thing that Lee had called them over. I don't know what Lee wants. He asked me if this was my boyfriend. She sat on the chair and looked at Hannah. Oh, so you explained to Lee that he's just helping you with your stream and that he's not your boyfriend? Hannah replied. I wanted to explain, but the organizer kept winking at me and told me to say he was. So in the end, I told him that this was my boyfriend. She punched Alex in the shoulder. Hannah, do you think I could date such a useless person? I really can't understand what Lee was thinking. I thought he might like me, but who would have thought that he's connected me with this guy? It really pissed me off. Minnie was deeply hurt. Well, I've helped you. Can you give me Cathy's letter now? Asked Alex as he looked at her. What's the hurry? Are you afraid that I won't give it to you? Minnie stared at him and took a sip of her drink. Alex heaved a heavy sigh. He wanted the party to end so he could get off the cruise ship. Minnie should have no reason not to give him the letter. The 2-hour party soon ended. Some of the guests began to leave the ship, but more people chose to stay on board for the reception. Alex had to stay and wait for the letter. There were more than 1,000 people who stayed on the ship, including the top internet celebrities. It was a good opportunity for them to enjoy the occasion and rub elbows with the rich, so they were unwilling to leave. Some people stayed on deck, holding goblets, talking and laughing with each other. Naturally, Lee was the focus of attention as he was surrounded by more than 10 internet celebrities who wanted to meet him. He walked onto the stage and grabbed the microphone. "Are you all having a good time?" "Yes," answered the crowd. Alex sat in a quiet chair far away from the stage. He looked at his phone and casually checked the weather. It said that day there would be a tropical storm passing through Miami. Alex looked up at the night sky. It was dark and black, as if it would rain heavily soon. "Today, I'm happy to take you out to sea," yelled Lee. It had been his happiest night since Angelina had left him. "Good. Go out to sea and play. Take us out to sea." The group of celebrities and many young people agreed to Lee's proposal. Alex frowned, stood up and walked up to the stage. A group of people was still following Lee. "Well, go and get me the captain," Lee asked a man. "We can't go out to sea tonight," a man's voice said as the group was caught up in the excitement. The crowd followed the sound to see that it had been Alex who had spoken up. "What did you say?" Lee noticed that the man who spoke was Alex, who he had seen earlier. "Who are you? Lee's already said that he'll take us out to sea." "Who is this guy? Isn't this the poor man from that live stream?" When Alex saw that people didn't understand him, he nodded to Lee in apology. "Lee, I didn't mean to go against you, but the weather forecast said that there's a tropical storm coming in. It's very dangerous to go out to sea." "So, when a tropical storm's coming, you feel that you need to tell me. Do you know that I just bought this cruise ship? Do you think a small tropical storm's gonna hurt me?" Lee said, gazing at Alex. "I don't mean that, it's just..." Alex still wanted to explain, but Lee didn't want to listen to him anymore. "Okay, stop with this nonsense," Lee said. "Lee's right, this is nonsense. It's such a big ship, it's not so fragile. Is he a man or a mouse? I'm not afraid." Alex was speechless. He began to look for Minnie in the crowd so they could get off the ship. The captain arrived to talk with Lee. "Let's set sail now," ordered Lee. "Lee, today's weather report indicates that the conditions are not very suitable. The Weather Bureau issued a warning message." The captain was a middle-aged man in his 40s with a lot of experience at sea. "You talk too much. Don't you trust the quality of this cruise ship? Can it withstand a small tropical storm? You don't have to sail for our family anymore. I want a real captain," he said irritably. "Let me ask you a question. Can you sail it?" "Well, yes, I can sail." The captain thought some more about the level of the storm mentioned by the weather station and that it wasn't high. The ship should be able to withstand it, and the probability of encountering a tropical storm was very small. "Okay, go back and get ready to sail." Lee waved, and the captain left. After hearing the captain, he hesitated. Some people were flustered. They were whispering whether they wanted to leave now. "Scared? Go now, as I won't wait for you," Lee said over the microphone. "I must leave. My family has something else they need me to do." "Oh, my father-in-law's in the hospital. I have to go back to see him now." Some of them left quietly. "Fine, go," Lee said with a scorn. Alex found Minnie and wanted to leave. Hannah was quite reasonable, but Minnie was angry. "Don't blame me." Alex had no other option but to pick up Minnie and carry her on his shoulder as they left the ship. What are you doing?" She beat him on the back with her hands. He ignored her as he carried her to the landing. "Hey, you on the stairs, stop!" Lee shouted at Alex with the microphone. Alex looked at Lee, but he didn't pay any attention to him. "If you go, I'll block that small streamer," Lee yelled. Alex stopped. "Do you want me to get blocked? You can leave on your own. Why are you carrying me?" She thumped him even harder on his back. "Well, if you say so, but don't blame me if you get into danger." He put her down on the ground. She glared at him and said, "Just leave me here right now. Go away." Minnie pushed Alex, hoping that he would fall down the stairs. "Give me the letter and I'll leave right away." Alex was disappointed in her. Since she hated him so much, it would be better if he left. "Letter? You still want the letter?" she snorted. She patted her bag. "The letter's in my bag. I wanted to give it to you, but look at what you've done to me. I should tear it up. I won't give it to you." Alex grabbed her collar and her eyes went cold. "What are you doing? Let go." She pushed him aside, grabbed Hannah's hand, and ran to the deck. Alex knew that he wouldn't be able to get the letter from her now, so he got ready to leave the ship. As he was about to leave, the whistle blew and the ship started to move. He was trapped on board. He slowly walked back to the deck. He wasn't really worried. He sat alone at the stern with the blowing sea breeze as he watched the waves. This cruise ship was the only one at sea. Lee called Minnie to come over to him. She was very nervous. "What's the matter?" He pulled her closer, and she leaned on his shoulder and felt surprised. She was a mere internet celebrity. How could she be around such wealthy people? "You're a good girl." Lee pinched her chin and said, "Do you want to date me?" Lee's abrupt question made her heart jump. He was quite frank. "Does he really like me?" she thought. "Well," she nodded shyly. "Good, I'm glad." He put his arm around her waist. "It's very easy to get rid of your boyfriend." "Lee, is what you're saying true? I'll tell him now." She was overjoyed. She would get rid of Alex if she could be Lee's girlfriend. How could she not be excited? Watching her reaction, Lee's eyes looked distant as he saw traces of Angelina in Minnie. Since Angelina had cheated on him, Lee's heart had become hardened. Hadn't Angelina looked for another man behind his back? Lee also wanted to take away other people's girlfriends and wives as revenge. He felt happy to see other men cry when they found out they were cheated on condition that you'll punish that guy. If I have a good time, you can be my girlfriend. Okay, baby? Lee gently pinched her chin. Alex was sitting in a daze, staring out at sea, when he heard a soft voice in his ear saying, "Alex?" When he turned around, he saw Edith looking at him apologetically. "I'm sorry, I was too impatient. I shouldn't have hit you. I feel terrible," she said as she squatted down next to him. "Forget it. Anyway, it's no use saying anything," he replied calmly. The sea was helping him to relax. "Yes, try to relax. Who knows when the storm will come? Besides, I don't think it'll get us. It'll probably miss us completely," she said with a smile. She continued, "Why are you just sitting here? It's so boring. There's a swimming pool over there. I know you can swim. Why don't you teach me?" Sitting on the deck, Alex said with some amusement, "You don't have a swimsuit with you, and I wouldn't be any good at teaching you anyway. Why don't you take a swimming class yourself? It's better than learning from me." "I want you to teach me, really. You haven't got anything else to do?" Ignoring his reluctance, she pulled him up, saying, "If you don't teach me, I won't let you read Cathy's letter." He felt that he had no choice, so he stood on the deck and started to teach Edith to swim. You said you wouldn't be a good teacher, but I think that you're better than this swimming coach, she joked. She picked up a swim ring and tried to put it on him. Alex blocked the ring with his arms and said, "Why are you giving me a lifesaver? I'm not getting into the water." "Oh, let me just see you with it on. It won't," she answered, putting the swim ring over his head. "Why is there a rope on the ring?" he asked when he noticed that the swim ring had a nylon rope attached. It made him feel uneasy. "I don't know, it just does. Don't worry about it. Come on, teach me some more." Edith looked a little nervous. She continued, "Actually, you've taught me for such a long time. I'll bet you're getting tired." "Don't," Alex said, trying to stop her, but she had already pulled him over to the railing. He stood facing the sea with his back to her. She said softly, "Are you comfortable? Relax a little." Then, very quietly, she squatted down, put her arms around his legs, and clenched her teeth. With all her strength, she lifted him and threw him over the railing. "Ah!" he screamed. He had never expected Edith to try to... By the time he knew what was happening, he had already fallen over the railing. His body dropped quickly, and with a plop, he fell into the sea. Fortunately, he was still wearing the swim ring and the rope was trailing back to the boat. The waves were splashing him in the face, making it difficult to keep his eyes open. Edith quickly grabbed the end of the rope and tied it to the railing. She heard a noise behind her and turned around in surprise. Lee was walking over, smiling and clapping his hands. There were a lot of people with him. They all stood by the railing and looked down at Alex in the water. Most of them were from wealthy and powerful families and weren't worried about the consequences of what was happening. Instead, they were excited. Some of the more sympathetic internet celebrities were concerned about him. They thought that he might be in real danger, but they felt there was nothing they could do. They just covered their mouths and started to cry. Lee held Edith in his arms and said, "Well done, babe. You've done way better than I imagined. I would never have thought of something like this." "Thank you, Lee. Can I be your girlfriend now?" she replied as she leaned into his arms. She felt very warm and secure. "Now that I've done what he asked, I'm sure he'll want me to be his girlfriend," she thought. "Of course," he replied. Then he looked into her eyes and said, "Sweetheart, tell me all about it. How did you get him down there?" "It was very simple. I told him that I wanted to learn to swim and asked him to teach me. I convinced him to put on the swim ring, and then I used all my strength to get him over the railings." Edith looked at him happily. She was totally immersed in the joy of becoming Lee's girlfriend and didn't give a second thought to the fact that she could have... Alex. "Oh, really? Like this?" Lee picked up a swim ring from the ground and put it over Edith's body. "Yes, that's it. You didn't even realize what I was doing," she replied sweetly. Then she suddenly noticed a strange glint in Lee's eyes, which made her heart race. She cried out, "Lee, no." "You're going down too," he said with a sinister look in his eyes. He grabbed her by the arms and threw her over the railing into the sea. Lee felt only bitterness and anger toward women after what Angelina had done to him. He wanted everyone else to feel as miserable as he did. At that moment, he channeled all his anger and hatred toward Angelina onto Edith. He hated her passionately for what she did. Terrified, Edith screamed. She fell into the sea with a plop, and her eyes, ears, mouth, and nose instantly filled with water. She struggled to swim, and she panicked when she remembered that her swim ring didn't have a rope for someone to pull her in. She was sure that she was going to die. Suddenly, a hand grabbed her collar. She felt like she could see a twinkling star in the dark water, and she seized the hand with all her strength. It was Alex who was offering her a helping hand. His lifesaver was attached to the ship by a rope. So long as he controlled his breathing and ensured that his body did not slide out of it, he knew that he could conserve his energy. Through the spray of the waves, he had seen a figure falling into the sea, and he didn't hesitate to hold his hand out to them. The other person was very close to him in the water, and he was determined to save them. With all his strength, he tried to wind the rope around the person's body. He instructed them to hold on to the rope, and then he breathed a sigh of relief. As long as the rope was not cut intentionally, the other person was now safe too. When he looked again, he realized that the person he was saving was Edith. The idea briefly crossed his mind to let her drown in the sea. But his conscience got the better of him, and he knew that he would save her. Although Edith couldn't see clearly the person who saved her from the waves, she knew that it was Alex. She was too scared to think too much about it. Within a few minutes, several young men were leaning over the railing to see what was happening. One asked, "What's happening?" "People are falling into the water," replied another. But there were other people, mostly girls, who were weeping. They had seen Lee pushing Edith over the railing and thought it was like a scene from a horror movie. The idea of that scared them. Lee called out to one of his staff, "Bring the knife." He was planning to cut the rope that attached Alex's swim ring to the railing. Suddenly, Hannah rushed over shouting, "No!" She knelt in front of him and pleaded, "Lee, please let them live." She cried bitterly. She knew that she had to do something to save Edith. "Lee, don't cut the rope," someone else shouted. "Oh, all right, I won't cut the rope. But I'm telling you all, no one is allowed to pull them up. They can stay down there until they..." Lee said, and walked calmly away. Hannah went to the railing and looked down into the sea. The deck was more than 20 yards up from the water, and it was dark, so she struggled to see anything. All that she could make out was some white spray at the end of the rope. "Is Edith..." Hannah thought in panic. She could not stop tears from rolling down her face. Suddenly, the boat rocked, and there was a loud clap of thunder in the sky. The people on deck felt the temperature plummet by at least 10 degrees. Strong gusts of wind blew across the deck, and people were struggling to stand upright. Lee and his friends suddenly felt uneasy. They were no longer in the mood to party. Lee went to the bridge and found the captain, who was frowning. He asked him, "What's the matter?" The captain looked back at him and said, "There's a tropical storm blowing in our direction. I've just changed course so that our ship won't get trapped in its center." Lee frowned. He stood next to the captain and looked at the position of the storm on the screen. The captain tried to reassure him. "Lee, don't worry. According to the radar, we can get to a safe position before it comes. Also, the storm doesn't seem to be too strong. As long as we're not in the center of it, we should be fine." Lee relaxed a little. However, he didn't feel like going back up on deck, so he stayed on the bridge with the captain. After half an hour, the cruise ship was almost out of the range of the storm, when suddenly there was a loud bang from underneath the boat, and it shook violently. Some people on the deck fell, some of them staggered, and a few almost fell into the sea. Lee, who was sitting on the bridge, fell off the sofa onto the ground. Lying there, he yelled to the captain, "What's going on?" The captain was mystified. He looked at the console in front of him in horror. He wanted to regain control, but the screen and control panel were going crazy. The captain was completely flustered. He was trembling and his legs were weak. "What's the matter?" Lee shouted as he rushed at him and grabbed him by his collar. "We hit the reef," he replied with his heart pounding. "What? You're such a... Get us home now. I want to go back." "I'm trying to go back now, but there's something wrong with the ship's power system. I don't know if I can get us back. I've sent an SOS to the Coast Guard. They'll send a ship to help us straight away." The captain was still struggling to control the cruise ship. Lee hard. He didn't want to listen to his excuses. He just wanted him to get the ship safely back to the port. "There's water coming in," someone said from the lower deck. "Oh no, how can this happen?" asked his friend. Another confirmed, "There's more than 3 inches of water on the floor." A group of people ran to the door of the bridge and started shouting desperately at the captain. The captain was in despair. He looked at the light on the control panel that confirmed the ship was flooding. The light turned red. He panicked and started mumbling to himself. "It's over. It's over. What have you done?" "This is what I think of you," Lee said. The captain didn't stand up for himself at all. He just started crying and muttering to himself. "You're useless," Lee scolded the captain again. He was worried that the bridge could also soon start flooding. He needed to get somewhere safe. He quickly ran out. The captain sat down on the floor. He had lost control of the cruise ship, and it was drifting out to sea. Even worse, it was now flooding. By this time, they were more than 60 nautical miles away from the coast, and he knew that a rescue boat would take at least 2 hours to reach them. By that time, the cruise ship would be submerged. Thinking that because of him, nearly 1,000 people might drown, he didn't want to live. Even if he was somehow rescued, he knew that he had destroyed the cruise ship that was worth millions. His life was in ruins. He did notice the water that began to flow in through the crack of the bridge door, but he didn't respond. He stayed sitting where he was on the ground. Slowly, he put his hand on a red triangle button and pressed it down, triggering the alarm to sound throughout the ship. Lee heard the deafening alarm and saw the flashing red and yellow alarm lights and ran to the deck. Everyone was panicking. Some of the girls were crying in their boyfriend's arms. Some people were desperately trying to make phone calls, but they found that they had no signal at all. A few jumped into the swimming pool, and others sat quietly on the ground, deep in shock. The deck was utter chaos. "Can you please help me to pull my friends up, please?" Hannah asked the people around her, desperate for help. Amidst the chaos, Lee had forgotten all about Alex and Edith. Luckily, there were a few kind people who tried to help her. Together, they pulled the rope up. Alex was surprised to find that someone was pulling him. When his swim rings started to rise from the sea, Edith almost fell back into the water. He grabbed her and held her tightly. "Hold on. If you fall back, you'll die," he yelled at her. She grabbed the rope with determination. Slowly, they rose out of the water. When they reached the height of the railing, Alex asked people to pull Edith over at first. They slowly pulled her onto the deck. "Edith, are you okay?" asked Hannah when she saw that her friend was safe. She was very happy and surprised. She squatted on the ground and held Edith's head. Alex lay exhausted on the deck for more than 10 seconds. Then he scrambled onto his knees and thanked the people who helped him. "You're welcome," replied one man. Another told him, "Young man, you're very lucky. I didn't think you would make it." "You saved her. Well done," said another. The people who rescued them quickly lost interest and walked away, one after another. Alex looked at the chaos on the deck, the people panicking, and the warning lights flashing. Then he heard the siren blaring, and he quickly realized that the ship was flooding. Edith was hugging Hannah and crying, "I thought I was going to..." "It's okay, Edith. Don't cry. You're safe now," Hannah said as she gently patted her back and comforted her. After 10 minutes, she started to calm down. She dried her tears and looked around her. She noticed Alex was sitting on the deck, watching her calmly. Their eyes met briefly, and her heart leapt. When she thought back to what she had done to Alex, she felt so ashamed that she needed to find a way to make it up to him. "I'm so sorry for what I did to you before. I was too vicious," she said, as she slowly crawled over to him, After soaking in the sea for so long, she had no strength. She continued, "Alex, you saved me. I really am sorry for how I treated you. In the future, I'll do anything you ask me to." He turned his face away from her. He could no longer believe anything she said. "Alex, I know you don't trust me, but you must believe how sorry I am. I know that I've acted terribly," she continued. She did feel guilty. "Thank you for saving me just now. I will find a way to repay you for your kindness. Thank you." Alex didn't want to listen to Edith. Looking at the vast sea, he thought to himself, "Will I here?" Half an hour later, the tropical storm was upon them. Fortunately, the cruise ship had moved out of the path of its very center. Also, it was only a medium-sized storm, not one that could break tree trunks on land, but large enough to do some damage. On the deck, chairs, loungers, and wine tables were blown everywhere, and some even fell into the sea. All the people could do was hide and try to shelter from the heavy rain. After another hour, there was still no sign of the rescue ship, and the water in the cruise ship had reached the 3rd floor and was about to reach the deck. "It's over," said one man dismally. His friend asked, "What should we do? I don't want to—" "I'm so afraid," cried a girl. The level of panic on board the ship had reached a peak, as everyone started to think that they were going to. In a corner of the deck, several young people surrounded Lee and shouted at him angrily. One said, "It's all your fault. You persuaded us to come on this ship." "Yes, it's all your fault," agreed another. Another screamed at him, "You're the one to blame." Lee shouted back, "What do you want from me? Get out of the way." He was from one of the wealthiest families in America, and he wasn't going to be intimidated by these people. Suddenly, someone shouted, "There's a boat coming!" "Look, there's a light over there," his friend agreed. Everyone on the deck looked toward the light and suddenly became hopeful. The young man who was attacking Lee also looked out to sea. There was a small spot of light in the distance. "Hello, this way!" one man cried. "We're over here!" shouted another. A few screamed, "Come save us!" Everyone who had given up hope now started to cheer. They watched the light getting bigger as the boat came closer. Within minutes, it had arrived at the side of the cruise ship, and they saw that it was a small rescue boat sent by the Coast Guard. Edith and Hannah were overjoyed to see the boat coming. After resting for more than an hour, Edith had finally recovered some physical strength and was able to stand on her own. She wanted to go to the rescue boat with Alex. The person in charge of the vessel looked at the people trapped on the cruise ship and realized that there was no way that they could all fit in. He frowned and yelled at them through a loudspeaker. "All the trapped people, don't panic. We will take all of you home safely. But now there are too many of you. Our rescue boat can't hold you all. I'm sorry, but we can only take some of you at a time. You can rest assured that 2 other rescue boats are also heading this way to take you to safety," he continued. "We'll take the women and parents with children first. The rest of you will have to wait for the next 2 boats. I guarantee that the other boats will be here soon to take you to safety." Although everyone heard what the captain of the boat said, no one was willing to wait. They all wanted to leave the flooded ship as soon as possible. They all felt they would be risking their lives to wait for the other boats. The captain set up a gangplank to the deck of the cruise ship, and Coast Guard officials supervised people crossing over onto the rescue boat. Using a megaphone, the captain instructed, "Right. Please, could all women and parents with children now quickly make your way over onto the boat? Everyone else must wait for the next boat." Quickly, the women and children started boarding. Lee was becoming extremely anxious. He was only thinking about his own life and was determined to get onto the rescue boat. But he was not a woman or a parent with a child, and he knew the captain wouldn't let him on. He spotted a woman standing in line with her daughter waiting to board. He walked up to her quickly and told her in a whisper that he would pay her $1 million to lend him her daughter so that he could get onto the rescue boat. The woman agreed. Lee grabbed the little girl, covered her mouth, and joined the line to board the boat. "Is this your daughter?" the captain asked Lee when he saw how young he was. He didn't look old enough for the little girl to be his daughter. He was also suspicious when he noticed that he was covering the little girl's mouth. Lee replied, "She's my daughter." He tried to look natural. "Go on then, hurry up." Because other people were waiting to board, the sailor let him get on. At that moment, a sharp voice called out, "That's not his daughter. Don't let him on the boat." Lee let go of the little girl's hand, and she took the opportunity to bite his wrist hard and run away from him. A sailor blocked Lee from boarding the boat, saying, "I'm sorry, sir, you can't get on the boat. You have to wait for the next one." He felt frustrated and angry. He knew that he had almost gotten onto the rescue ship. He whispered to the sailor, "Buddy, you don't know me, but I'm the boss of the Dempsey Corporation. My father's one of the richest men around. My family is very wealthy. If you let me on this boat, you'll be well rewarded." "Sorry, but no," the sailor said and shook his head. Lee was angry, but the sailor refused to let him board the ship. Finally, he could only walk away indignantly. When he looked around to see who had stopped him boarding, he saw Edith looking at him with a sneer. He became even angrier and went over to her, convinced that it was her fault. "So you didn't drown, you... If you dare to cross me again, just remember who I am," he said to her with a snarl. She glared angrily at him and said, "So, you think I won't stand up to you?" Then she rushed at Lee, hoping to take him by surprise. Unfortunately, he managed to grab her and hold onto both her arms. "Help!" she cried. "Alex, please help me!" Hannah also pleaded with Alex to help her friend, but he continued to calmly watch Edith struggling with Lee. He had no intention of helping her. Lee sneered at Edith and said, "She's begging that boy to save you, but he doesn't care at all. If he decides to help you now, he'll look like the biggest fool in the world." "Don't call him a fool," Edith said in a sharp voice. "Wow, you feel sorry for him now, don't you? If you tell me not to make fun of him, it'll only make me want to do it more. Do you want to be his girlfriend now? You know that you can't get away with plotting against me. You'll get what you deserve," Lee said. He was starting to enjoy himself as he continued to restrain her. "I told you not to criticize him, you... Edith screamed as if she had gone crazy. She tried hard to break away from his control, but wasn't strong enough. In the end, she gave up and cried forlornly. Lee allowed her to stagger a few steps backwards, but didn't let go of her. He took her over to the railing and said, "Damn it, you're a crazy, right? Let's see if you're lucky a second time." "Let me go," Edith screamed. It was raining hard, and everyone was focused on getting onto the rescue boat. No one noticed what Lee was planning to do. Edith was pushed to the railing again. Remembering the horror of falling into the sea earlier, she started to fight back with all her strength. Lee's eyes were fierce as he tried desperately to push her over the railing. Again, he tried to push her over, but she managed to resist. He turned around angrily and saw that Alex was helping to hold her down. Alex took the opportunity to pull Edith away. As she fell into Alex's arms, she became completely infatuated with him. She couldn't believe that even after she had done such unforgivable things to him, he would still save her. At that moment, feeling the warmth of his arms, she knew that he was a good man. After holding Edith for only a moment, he pushed her toward Hannah. "Edith, are you okay?" Hannah asked her. "I'm okay," she replied as she gazed at Alex. The moment he pushed her away, her heart broke. Lee said angrily to Alex, "It's you again. Are you stupid? She was going to kill you earlier, but you still want to help her." Alex looked menacingly at Lee and said, "Why don't you stay out of my business? Leave her alone from now on, or I'll throw you overboard." "Why is everyone threatening me today?" Lee grumbled. "Buddy," he pleaded, "I've learned my lesson. I promise I won't bother Edith anymore." Alex looked at Lee's white face and noted his trembling voice. He snorted, dumped him on the deck, and walked away. He went to the side of the deck and sat down on the ground. Edith and Hannah quickly went over to him. "Thank you for saving my life," Edith said softly, sitting down beside him. "You don't have to thank me. I just couldn't stand by and do nothing. To tell you the truth, I really hope he will take you." Alex stopped speaking suddenly. He frowned and looked out to the sea. Then he continued, "After today, please stay away from me. I never want to see you again." When she heard what Alex said, Edith was devastated, as she realized that she had hurt him too much. She wanted to tell him that she had completely repented and would never do it again. But he looked so serious that she was afraid to speak. She continued to sit quietly beside him, feeling desolate. Hannah looked toward the rescue boat and said, "Edith, let's get on the boat. There aren't too many people waiting in line now." There weren't many women left waiting to board, and she didn't want to miss their chance to get on it. "Hannah, you go," Minnie replied quickly. "I'll sit here and wait for the next rescue boat." Alex had saved her life twice, and she wanted to make sure that he was also rescued. She didn't feel that she could just leave him. Hannah pleaded with her friend to go with her, but Edith refused. Finally, Hannah decided that she would also sacrifice herself to keep Alex company and sat down next to Edith. When the rescue boat pulled away, it was full of women and parents with children. Around 500 people, almost all men, were left on the sinking cruise ship. The few women left on board were wives who were reluctant to leave their husbands behind. When the rescue boat had gone, the deck fell silent again. After some time, people began to hear the sound of another vessel approaching. They guessed that this was not an official rescue boat because it did not come from the direction of Miami, but from further south. It seemed to be a large, privately owned yacht. Watching the yacht approach, the people on the deck stood up again. They prayed that this boat would rescue them. The yacht stopped, and a young guy wearing flowery shorts appeared on the deck. He said, "What's going on?" There were two beautiful women with him on the yacht. It was Justin Ambrose. When he had heard about the celebration with 100 internet celebrities, he couldn't wait to get there. He was determined to catch up with the cruise ship, but was shocked to find it sinking and people evacuating. Everyone on deck started shouting out to Justin. "Help! Please save us!" One man called out to him. "Take us back on your boat!" cried his wife. "Please help us!" said another man. "Alex, let's go and see what's happening," Edith said. She spoke carefully, for fear of making him angry. He didn't say anything. He just stood up and went and looked at the yacht. He was surprised to see his half-brother standing on board. He walked over to the railing where he could clearly see him. Justin was saying, "I've got a lot of people on my yacht with me. I won't be able to show these ladies a good time if you're all on board. You'd better wait for the Coast Guard." Justin didn't care at all about saving people. Enjoying himself was always his priority. "Sorry guys, my ladies are waiting for me," he continued, and was about to go back inside the yacht when a cry from the cruise ship stopped him. "Justin!" He looked back doubtfully and saw Alex standing on the deck. He was overjoyed. "Alex, what are you doing there? Come on quickly, get on the yacht." He gestured to Alex that he should get on the yacht with him. "Well, you get the boat up to the gangway and I'll get on now," Alex replied. As the yacht pulled up against the gangway, he prepared to walk across. As he turned to step onto it, he almost bumped into Edith and Hannah. "Alex, please take us with you," Hannah said. Edith kept her head lowered and was afraid to look him in the eye. "Forget it," she said in a low voice. "Let him go by himself. We'll wait for the next rescue boat." She gently pulled Hannah toward her. "I guess you two can come with me," Alex sighed. He walked down the gangway to the yacht with the two girls following him. Some of the other people on the boat tried to follow, but as they went to jump from the gangway onto the yacht, Justin sneered at them and said, "If you dare to jump on, I'll kick you into the sea. Just try it." They all believed him and backed away. Lee had heard that a yacht had arrived and that it was a particularly expensive one. He thought he knew all the rich people in Miami and that the owner of the yacht would have heard of him, even if he didn't know him personally. He decided to give this man the honor of rescuing him. He managed to squeeze himself through to the gangway and yelled to the owner of the yacht, "Hey buddy, let me get on your yacht." He was afraid that the yacht owner wouldn't recognize his face, so he stepped onto the railing so that he was a foot higher than everyone else. He waved and yelled, "Wait for me! Let me get on your yacht! I'm Lee!" He saw the young man on the yacht turn and look at him. He suddenly stopped yelling as he realized it was Justin Ambrose. He thought, "Last time we met was at this singing competition and I upset Justin. Now Alex and Edith seem to be standing next to him. What's going on? How do they know him? Are they related to him? Will they tell Justin that I just tried to them?" Lee was flustered and unsteady on his feet due to the amount of alcohol he had drunk. His feet slipped and he fell over the railing and straight into the sea. From the yacht, Justin saw someone falling overboard, but he didn't know who it was. He looked at the figure splashing in the water and said, "Is this guy crazy jumping into the sea? The waves are so fierce." "Don't worry about him. Someone has already thrown him a lifesaver. Let's go, guys." Then he turned and instructed the captain of the yacht to head back to Miami. Alex, Justin, Hannah, and Edith sat on the deck chatting. Although Edith didn't know who Justin was, she thought that he looked like he was wealthy, and she was surprised to hear him call Alex his brother. She wondered, is Alex also from a rich family? "Big brother, I'm surprised that you went to the Twitch party," Justin said to Alex with a smile. Edith waited anxiously for Alex to reply, but he stayed quiet. If she hadn't insisted that Alex go to the party, his life would never have been in danger. "Aren't you going to introduce me to these beautiful ladies?" Justin joked. Seeing that Alex wasn't going to bother introducing them, Edith took the initiative. She stood up and said, "Hello, Justin. My name is Edith, and I'm one of Alex's classmates. Her name is Hannah, and she's a friend of mine." Justin nodded. He looked at Alex and said with a small smile, "My brother seems unhappy tonight. I better shut up or I'll annoy him even more. What do you think, babe?" Then, ignoring Edith and Alex, he turned and pinched the chin of the girl sitting beside him. For the next few minutes, he continued to flirt with her and two other young ladies. "Can I have that letter?" Alex asked Edith. "Yes, sorry. I'll get it for you now," Edith replied and quickly took the letter Cathy gave her from her bag. Hannah had been looking after her bag for her when she was in the sea, so luckily it wasn't wet. Alex took the envelope from her hand and straight away recognized Cathy's handwriting on the front. It said, "To be personally opened by Alex." He sighed softly, opened the envelope, and read, "Dear Alex, I remember when we were freshmen and we said that we would live with each other for a lifetime. Our words still linger in our ears, but in less than a year we've reached this point. Life is indeed like a play. You said that no matter whether the love between us was right or wrong, of course you may now think that what we had was not love, but let me call it that, we should never complain or regret it, because young people always make mistakes. It seems that you've managed to completely let go of your feelings for me. I'm very happy for you. Honestly, and without any irony, I'm happy for you. However, I'm not as lucky as you are. Whether you believe it or not, the truth is that I've never stopped thinking about you. Especially after being abandoned, first by Billy and then by Simon, I realized that there was only one person in the world who has ever been good to me. It was the same person who protected me, and the same student who gave me all his money for food and fell ill himself. People always cherish something more after they've lost it. When I think back, I find that the one I love deeply has moved further away from me and is now deeply in love with someone else. I think it's time that I learn to let go, so I've decided to quit school. Please don't blame yourself. Everything is my choice. I just need to be somewhere where I don't keep seeing you, where I can let time help me forget you. I hope that one day when we meet again, you'll be holding your wife and I'll be in the arms of my husband, and that we'll look at each other with only friendship in our eyes, without any hatred or regret." After reading Cathy's letter, Alex felt much more comfortable. He instantly felt that he would finally be free of her. He lifted the letter and let it drop into the water. Watching the paper float out of view, he wondered whether Cathy had already forgotten him. The yacht soon reached Miami. After docking, Edith and Hannah saw that Alex's attention was no longer on them. They left quietly, and Justin asked his female companions to go back to the hotel. He hadn't seen his older brother for such a long time, and naturally he wanted to have a good chat with him. By this time it was mid-afternoon and the restaurant was closed, so Justin bought some beer and snacks in the convenience store, and the two brothers sat in the doorway of a closed building, eating and drinking together. Justin opened a can of beer and said with a smile, "Hey Alex, this is nice, isn't it?" He had been spoiled since childhood and had always eaten in classy restaurants. It was the first time that he had eaten sitting on the ground. "You don't know how many times I ate potato chips and drank beer in places like this during my 7 years of poverty training," Alex joked with a smile. "You're so good," Justin joked back. "By the way, what did you get up to at the party today? Did you meet any interesting young ladies, or do you still only have eyes for Debbie?" He looked at Alex and smiled. Hearing the sudden mention of Debbie, Alex's heart skipped a beat, but he didn't reply. He just raised his head and drank a few gulps of beer. "Alex, what's the matter?" Justin saw his reaction and thought about Debbie. He realized that he hadn't seen her since the horrible incident at the singing contest, and he became worried. He said, "I haven't seen Debbie for a long time. Why don't you take me to see her first thing tomorrow morning?" When Justin said that he wanted to see her, Alex suddenly felt guilty, as if he had done something wrong. "Sorry, I can't tomorrow," he replied. He felt ashamed. Justin put down his beer can and stared at Alex. He asked, "What do you mean? Is there something wrong with her? What's the matter?" Alex knew that he could no longer hide the truth. His eyes were full of sadness as he explained, "It's my fault. The last time she came back from Chicago, she was kidnapped from the airport. She was taken to a hotel and Suddenly, he couldn't go on. "What?" Justin asked impatiently. Alex used all his strength to say, "She was..." What? He couldn't believe what he was hearing. "But how is she now?" he asked anxiously. "She..." Alex closed his eyes and paused for a moment, then continued. "She fell down from the 3rd floor of the hotel and was taken away by strangers. I don't know where she is now." "What? Debbie's missing?" Justin was horrified to hear that the gentle, kind-hearted, elegant and refined girl that he had met on Harmony Island had been through so much and was now missing. He was worried and angry, and he took his frustration out on Alex. "And?" he roared. "I've been looking for her. I've asked Ken Stokes and Sam Woodsworth to mobilize all their people to search for her. I've also got the rest of the family looking. If anyone gets news about her, they'll let me know immediately," Alex said. He felt guilty. "That's all?" Justin yelled. Alex stared at him in shock. He had never yelled at him like that before. "Tell me, where were you when your girlfriend was framed by the 2 at the singing contest? Did you know that she was in agony while she was trying to perform on stage? Did you know that someone nearly... Do you realize that if I hadn't happened to be there that day, she might have..." "Yes, I know," Alex replied quietly. He had read Debbie's diary every day and could remember everything that she had written. Justin was furious. He threw the chips, peanuts, and cans of beer onto the ground with one hand. "Don't you care that she's missing? You lost her. What are you doing about it, huh? You sent Ken and Sam out looking for her on your behalf so you can sit back and relax? You feel that you're doing everything you can? What else are you going to do? You're unbelievable. I'm asking you what you're doing. Why aren't you answering me?" In the sky, there was a clap of thunder, and rain started hammering on the pavement. "If I had known on Harmony Island that you didn't give a about Debbie, I would have stolen her from you to be my girlfriend," Justin continued to yell at Alex. "Wake up! Do you know what you're going to do?" "Yes," Alex replied, suddenly thinking clearly. "What? Tell me, I can't hear you," Justin roared at Alex. Finally, Alex became full of energy. He roared back. "I'll start looking for her immediately. Even if I have to go to the ends of the earth, I'll find her." "Good. This is the older brother I can be proud of. This is what a man should do." He put his hand on Alex's shoulder and said, "If you don't find Debbie, you're no longer a brother of mine." Then he turned and walked away. Alex stood and watched him go. It was raining heavily, and his whole body was drenched. Justin's reaction to the news that Debbie was missing shocked him into action. He wondered to himself, what on earth have I been doing since she disappeared? I must go right now to find Debbie in person and bring her back. The next day, he caught the first flight back to New York. He was determined to find Debbie himself. He had no specific destination in mind and no time restraints. He would look until he found her. However, he went back to New York to collect some of her things to take with him for comfort. Also, because he didn't know when he would return, there were a few business affairs he had to deal with before he left. On arriving in New York, he dealt quickly with all his business affairs. At noon, he bought 2 live chickens and took them to the villa for Grandma. He didn't tell her that he was about to leave the city because he knew that she wouldn't let him go. After picking up a few items of clothing from the villa, he took a taxi and went to the Azalea guest house. He wanted to collect Debbie's diary, and he also had arranged to meet Sam Woodsworth and Ken Stokes there to tell him what he was planning to do. When he reached the guest house, he put Debbie's diary into his backpack. As he stepped from her room into the hall, he found Sam waiting for him. He said, "Mr. Ambrose, why don't you just let us look for Debbie? We'll be much more effective." and you'll be putting yourself in danger if you go alone. He was very worried about Alex searching for Debbie on his own. Alex replied with a small smile. Sam, don't worry. I'm not a child. I've also been through poverty training for 7 years, so I can look after myself. Where's Ken? Isn't he here yet? At that moment, Ken Stokes rushed in with his face full of joy. He said, Alex, I have news. I have news.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.